Welcome class to my presentation and welcome Dr. Cynthia Brown. My general purpose today is to inform the audience on how culture affects communication. My specific purpose is to inform you guys on how American culture has affected communication. In every country, there are different types of culture and they can communicate very differently. In order to live comfortably in America, one must understand how the culture communicates and how the concepts of communication works within the culture. American cultures are low contacts, they have intense eye contact, and they use social media to communicate a lot. First, American cultures are low contacts. And what I mean by that is Americans has always been direct communicators. They like to get straight to the point in a conversation. They pay less attention to body language and the way we move, but they speak more verbally. So in a conversation, you're gonna notice American people, paying attention to what you say versus how your body movements actually are moving. In America, the verbal communication can sound rude and unappealing if someone's not used to the culture. For instance, you may ask somebody, "Hey, where is the restroom?" and they might come off as very straightforward, like it's right over there, type of deal, like you didn't see the sign or something. So, but in a way, they don't mean it to be rude most of the time. Um, Also, the American language is very enthusiastic, assertive, and persuasive. So, what I mean by that is the American language style is full of character or active. We see this a lot in screenplays and by actors, and the way the manuscripts are and the way they converse in a movie. It's full character. It's active. It's alive. And next, their language is very confident. When we talk, we're very confident in what we say because we study it, and we gather data together to present things, and it can sound very convincing when Americans communicate. They can convince you that, man, this burgers is so good, man. They have it on the billboard, and they say, man, this is the best thing you can eat right now. Next in the next 5 miles on the next exit, right there. It's convincing, right? You're hungry, you're sitting in the car, you're my man. I'm convinced that's gonna be a good burger. Second, American culture communications are nonverbal. Americans like to maintain eye contact. They believe it demonstrates respect and honesty. We see this eye contacts in a lot of conversations. We see a lot of from professors in classroom styles or in business meeting. When we want to be very direct and we want to be and looking people in the eye. Psychology says that it demonstrates honesty. And American American gestures like handshakes to greet someone is very appropriate in the American culture. We do this when we meet a business partner. We do this when we meet new coworkers, new classmates in class. This is just a professional way to meet people. But unlike meeting strangers or other business professional, people hug more, but we only hug your friends and your family. Now, American gestures use the signs like okay. This means in America, this is acceptable. A lot of us know that. We use it a lot in emojis. You know, this means everything's going to be okay. So, but then in other cultures like Japan, this actually means money. You see this in a lot of the Buddha statues around Japan and China, where the hand symbols are actually like this. This means that money. They need money. They want money. This is a sign for money. Pay me, and that's how different gestures has different symbol interactions. Uh, Americans enjoy their personal space and will sometimes react strongly if invaded. We see this happen in the grocery stores when you're you're too close to somebody in an aisle, or they're in the way of a product you're trying to reach, and you get too close and they turn around, they give you a dirty look, or they might say something nasty to your face like, what are you doing? Get out of my space. And you might be shocked and you're like, well, you were just blocking the aisle the product and I'm just trying to get to it. But this is why we don't invade personal space. And sometimes it can even get violent. So, something to consider in America is letting everybody have their own personal space. Third, American culture communication involves the use of digital media. We use a lot of manufacturing technologies like iPhones and Androids to communicate, to send text message. Uh, Americans use Facebook and Twitter to voice their opinions, to make posts on their daily situations, and even to debate on subjects sometimes. And statistics shows in 2019, 79% of the population in the United States had a social networking profile. I know I have one through LinkedIn and Michigan Works. I network my working profile to applications to get a job. Next, American cultures um, also like to use technology to maintain relationships or long distance relationships, and especially we see this in a lot of the military service where spouses or significant others are out of the country and they use technology to maintain those relationships, like Facebook Live Messenger to speak with each other, and they Americans also use GPS global tracking to track the loved ones, make sure they're safe, make sure they got to where they were going, and those are all types of way Americans use technology to communicate. So now that we've gone through all the concepts of communication, let's summarize it down to how American culture is very straightforward with their concentration, straightforward with little concentration on body language. They rely heavily on verbal words to communicate. Nonverbal communications are maintaining eye contact while in conversations, not invading personal space, and a proper handshake is all appropriate behaviors in the culture. People enjoy the use of the internet to communicate. Cell phones, social medias, Facebooks are all acceptable ways to contact people. The American culture is unique and it's engaging. When living in America or visiting, people must anticipate communication changes and make appropriate behavior changes. So these are all the concepts to how American culture has affected communication. And I thank you all for listening. Have a good day.